What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and it's Fresh Build Friday. Actually, it's not so much Fresh Build Friday as it's Fresh Review Friday, but I do have the new Council of Vapor RST, or Rebuildable Sub-Tank, for you guys to check out today. I'm not going to be actually building this thing today, but I will be doing a quick little wicking tutorial, how I like to wick this thing. So stick around and wait for that. I will put a timestamp in the description below if you just want to check that out. However, this is going to be mostly a review. So stick around. Let's go ahead and get started with this video. Before I get into it, I just have to say that I did receive this product from the manufacturer for the purpose of doing this video review. However, my opinions on it will remain honest and unbiased, of course, as always. Now, that being said, I would like to give a big thank you and a big shout out going to Council of Vapor. They're the ones that sent this thing to me for the purpose of doing this video. So thank you guys so much. 2 big thumbs up goes out to you. And anyways, let's go ahead and get into the specs of this device. It is 22 millimeters in diameter. It has a turbine drip tip and top fill system, 5 angled air holes inside the drip tip, straight center air hole, protects against spit back. It's threaded, quad filling ports with a 1.35 milliliter capacity. The rebuildable head on it is a 2-post build deck, 2 millimeter diameter terminals, 6 millimeter bottom airflow, silver plated contact. It is a 0.2 ohm. It also comes with a 0.2 ohm replaceable coil head, wide body coil structure, 6 wicking ports, organic cotton, vertical coil orientation, and it's to be used at 40 to 90 watts. Now, the quad adjustable air slots are 7.5 millimeters by 2 millimeters each. They have adjustable airflow control ring on the outside. Silver plated 510 connection, stainless steel and glass construction. And of course, the lovely Council of Vapor bottom engravings. And inside the box, you're going to get a single RST tank. You're going to get the spare glass tank section, spare O-rings, a 0.2 ohm rather coil head installed, and the rebuildable head as well. And of course the user manuals and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's dive down into the close-up section and take a better look at this thing. Alright guys, so as you can see here, we have our Council of Vapor RST. First up, we're going to just take a quick look around the packaging, see what we can see here. Pretty much standard Council of Vapor packaging at this point. Nice acrylic box with a silver embellished logo there. Nice little RST with the COV above it. On the side here, we just have Council of Vapor, pretty standard. This side here, we have their Facebook and their website, of course. Tamper evident seals on both ends, which is a nice touch. And it has a coil option, 0.2 ohm, and stainless steel right there. That is what is written on the bottom. On the back, we have a lovely gold emblem. The Council of Vapor logo. I absolutely love their, accents, their gold and silver accents. It makes it really look classy. Again, the Council of Vapor RST logo, made by the USA. Made by the USA. Not made in the USA, but made by the USA. I like that. These are actually made in China, designed and everything in the USA. Anyways, you guys want to see what's inside the box. Of course, here's the tank, but we're going to get to that in just a little bit. Don't worry, I'm going to give you a nice close-up of that in just a second. Let's go ahead and just take a look at what else comes in the box here. So, in the box is a extra glass tank and some O-rings, and a 0.2 ohm coil here. So it comes with the rebuild deck as well as a coil. I think it's kind of cool that you can use a coil in it. So if you don't feel like using the rebuildable tank section, you can just slap a coil in there and continue, or what have you. So in the bottom of the box, we have, of course, they want you to go on Facebook and enter their little giveaways and stuff like that. You could win a Kindred, a coil, or even an Addy. So make sure you check that out. Your quick start guide, which is very basic, very, very basic stuff on this one here. I mean, it puts it in the most simple of terms, basically showing you how to fill up the tank and prime the coil. And then on this side here, a few little words So yeah, for most of you guys that are familiar with Council Vapor products, this is going to be no big thing to you guys. And finally, on the very bottom, we have a little warning thing here. Warning, please fill the tank and place it for 2 minutes before you're first using the coil head to prevent the dry burn. That is some broken English right there. Whew! Let's get some Americans to proofread that, before sending it out maybe. I know Council Vapor is an American company, so you can do it. I just feel like there's a little bit of a, translation problem there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put everything back in the box real quick, and then we'll get to the close-ups of the tank itself. Alright guys, so as you can see, we have the Council Vapor RST tank already out of the package, and let's just go ahead and start with the top and work our way down. So as you can see right there, the COV RST logo, and I gotta admit, I'm a big sucker for the logo. I think they did a good job on it. However, the drip tip is non-interchangeable. You have to use their drip tip. You'll also notice that there's not a honeycomb pattern, but this is like the new turbo kind of style airflow. That's the new thing they got going on with this tank here. It's supposed to kind of spiral the airflow and kind of shoot the vapor into your lungs, but honestly, I think it's a little bit gimmicky for me personally. And it is made of stainless steel, so I'm not a huge fan of it anyways because of that fact. I prefer Delrin or Teflon or acrylic drip tips. However, they have a lack of options there for you. So there we go. There, you see the underside of that and the fact that it is indeed threaded with an O-ring. And that's going to be for your top fill. However, not a big fan. Gotta say, I really wish they at least made an option, an optional acrylic tip or something like that for it. So you can see there they have the two red O-rings at the top, which is going to be very similar to the Defiant tank. They have probably a ton of spare parts and stuff left over from those other tanks, so that's what I'm guessing they're going to be using on this here. They probably just had a ton of stuff from a few different tanks, and they're like, let's just throw the old red O-rings on them, even though I know a few people aren't too big of a fan of it. So taking off the glass has improved. Council of Vapor used to have a lot of problems with their glass, and I think they've definitely improved it in the past couple of years or so. You can see this is like the upper part of the chimney, nice wide bore in there. Nothing too much else to say about that except for the fill holes. Not too difficult to fill. You do want to take your time with it, however, because you can end up flooding it accidentally if you try to force too much juice in there. But yeah, not too much else to say about that. I think the glass holds up pretty nice. Feels like a good quality. You can probably hear that, hopefully. Anyways, moving forward here, now we have the lower chimney section, which you'll see these little notches on the side here. Now this is meant to lock it into place. So when you're screwing in the tank, it shifts to one side, and if you wanted to remove just the coils without the tank, you should be able to slide it out through that little notch there. However, as you can see, I'm kind of struggling with it right now. It's a little bit tight in there. A little bit too tight for my liking, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's see if we can focus on there. And you can see that little tiny hair of metal. That's the only thing holding it on there. I feel like I've bent that already. And if you bend it too far out of shape, it's going to either break or something like that. So that locking system is definitely not my favorite piece of this device here. And there you go, there's your wicking channel, and you can see it kind of lines up to the wicking channels with the lower part here, and it just kind of fits over like that. I will be showing you in a little bit how I actually wick this thing, but bringing that out again real quick. This piece here, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of those little things right there. To be honest with you, I kind of wish they went with the whole Kanger style and just threw a screw onto it and just left it at that, because this just doesn't really work for me. I see where they were going with it, and I just don't think it works in practice so much as it does on paper. I didn't take my coil off of this because I was pretty happy with how it came out, but you can see the deck. I like that the deck lays flat and flush and everything is all nice like that. It's insulated all the way around, and you have a massive air channel at the bottom there. Regular Phillips head screws, nothing too fancy. I threw a fuse Clapton on there. I'm pretty sure that's how you are supposed to build it. I'm not sure if you can actually do a dual coil with this configuration. I'm sure people out there are going to correct me in the comments. But I felt like this was probably the easiest way to build it, so that's how I did it. And I just wanted to throw it together just to get into it because I was pretty excited. Now that being said, moving on, we have this whole deck piece is actually removable. You can actually just unthread this and that comes right out like that. And oops, there you go. There's the insulated bottom piece of the tank and the airflow, which is quad airflow, adjustable of course. And that's actually where you can screw in the normal 0.2 ohm coil that comes with it, which is kind of a nice thing. I really like the fact that it's kind of like, you know, a transformer. You can either do coils that you build or coils that you just throw in there. So nice touch there. Adjustable airflow, they really didn't change much since, you know, the, what was that one? Vengeance tank. So nothing really revolutionary for the airflow. But of course, the lovely logos. Ugh, I love the quality of these things. They're amazing. They just, they're so classy. I just love it. I also wanted to show you the pin here. This actually slides out. I'm not sure what that's made of, but it feels like it's silver plated. It's a little extra shiny. It's a little lighter in color, so I feel like that could be a silver plated pin. Not sure if it's silver plated copper, silver plated brass, silver plated stainless steel, or what, but there you go. I did want to show that off as well. So now we're just going to go ahead and put this thing back together real quick so I can rewick it and we can continue on with the video. Alright guys, so as you can see, I left this thing built and I just wanted to rewick it and show you guys how I do it. I've got a little pad of Japanese cotton here that I'm going to be using. I've already kind of prepped it a little bit, so I'm just going to kind of do my normal thing. Tear about half a sheet's worth of a single layer, and I roll it up, making sure that one end stays fairly tight so I can get it through that coil. But I don't compress my cotton. That's the thing. That's the one thing that you can take away from any one of my build videos, is that I don't compress the cotton. So just kind of pulling it through like that, make it fairly tight. You want it a decent tightness. Definitely not a loose cottoning there, and you just want to find that one place where it really fits in well, which is right about there. Then what I do is take the little top cap chimney piece, close it on like that. Then I take my trusty scissors and trim off the excess right at the edge. So fairly easy to wick. Make sure you get all the loose fibers and all that stuff, because that'll look ugly in your tank, and no one likes that. I actually usually drench my cotton before I put the tank on, just to make sure it's firing properly. So I'm just going to get out all those loose fibers real quick. And there we go. So today I'll be using some Redbird. This is a new one from the people that made Bluebird, one of my favorite e-liquids of all time. So pretty excited to have a 120 of it. Gotta tell you, I just got all my stuff back from VPX and I'm diving into those samples. So for those of you that want to see the stuff that I pick up, I will be starting to do videos on that very shortly. And of course some, show footage as well. I didn't forget about that. I will be doing a little bit of event coverage. I didn't really film as much as I would have kind of liked to, I guess, but I don't know. I spent a lot of time talking to the advocates and, the other YouTubers that were there, which is kind of like planning for the future for the regs, We'll talk about that in a vlog video, I'm sure. You guys are here for the review and the build and all that stuff, so I won't bother you too much with advocacy, but make sure you check the links in the description. That's all I ask. So here we go. We're looking pretty good. We got it all juiced up. Just going to give it one final little layer on there and warm up that coil. So I usually just check and make sure the coil is not lighting up, which it doesn't seem to be. I think we're in good shape here, so let's go ahead and put the tank all back together and fill it up. And just like that, nice filled up tank. Let's go ahead, go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, we are back. I hope you enjoyed the little close-up section, taking a better look at this little device here, the Council Vapor RST. So let's go over some of my thoughts on this device, some pros, some cons, and whether or not I would purchase it if I did not receive it for free for the purpose of doing this video. So first up is going to be the pros. My first pro is going to be the price at $39.99 to $49.99. You really can't beat it. I mean, there's a lot of other tanks out there that are just standard coil tanks. Pretty much just reworking the same old idea and same old concept over and over again, and they're not really delivering anything new to the table. This one here is very unique. I haven't seen too many like this. I mean, the build deck on it is pretty substantial, and for that kind of price, being able to just quickly interchange your coil is definitely going to be a pro in my book. So my second pro is going to be the airflow. Council of Vapor has never disappointed me with airflow. I mean, you're talking quad airflow, and it gives you a nice deep lung inhale. It definitely does not leave you wanting any more airflow out of this tank here. For a tank, it definitely hits closer to a dripper than anything else I've tried in the past. So that is definitely going to be a big plus for me personally. My third pro is going to be the fact that it is adaptable and convenient, that it has the different coil options. So you can either rebuild this thing, and if you're out and about and you just so happen to scorch your cotton or something like that, and you don't have any time to recotton it or anything like that, then you could just quickly just take out the build deck, throw it in a bag or something like that, and take out a pre-made coil, pop it in, prime it up, and you're good to go. So you're back in action in less than a minute, rather than being out for 5-10 minutes actually rewicking this thing, and you have to have a table and that kind of thing, and scissors, and bring in all your tools. So it's just nice and convenient to be able to just throw a coil in there and you're off and running, vaping again in a couple of minutes. So my final pro is going to be the fact that it is so easy and very convenient to build and wick this device here. So I built this thing maybe in about 5 minutes, which is great. I mean, I already had a coil already spun up, so all I did was just wrap it a few times, have the leads going opposite directions, just kind of bent the leads before I inserted them into the actual posts, and then I tighten it down. And as you saw in the little previous close-up section, all it takes to rewick is throwing a piece of cotton through there, putting down the chimney, and snipping off the edges. It's that simple. So this thing is definitely convenient for the, I would say, beginner to average builder. That's definitely going to be easy for you guys to figure out. So before I go on to the cons, I did want to show you a little bit more vapor production off of this thing, so I'm just going to take a couple rips. Alright guys, so moving on to the cons. My first con is going to be the drip tip. So as you guys know by now, I do not like metal tips, and Council of Vapor just keeps on putting metal tips on their devices, especially ones like this one here where there's no other options for it. You can't just put an adapter on there or anything. You're stuck with the original metal tip that it comes with, and that's about it. So unfortunately, there's no tip options for this thing right now. I mean, you're going to have to find a machinist or something like that to engineer a tip if you even want to consider it. However, I don't think that's something very feasible for the average person. I mean, I usually rock these half moon tips here, these acrylic ones. Those are my go-to drip tip style. However, this one here, you're stuck with that metal tip, and I cannot stand the feeling of a big hunkin' metal tip in my mouth, and I just don't like the way metal tips feel, especially when it's rubbing against your teeth or anything like that. I just don't like it. So that's going to be a big time con for me. Also, I did have to mention that the turbo airflow, whatever you want to call it, that little angled airflow thing, doesn't really do anything for me. I mean, I don't really see the advantage of it. Don't really see any increase in performance or anything like that. So, I would say that's like on the minor end of the cons, I guess. My second con is going to be the fact that the chimney section, actually I've seen a lot of bubbles coming out from not where the wicking ports are, so I'm assuming that's actually juice getting into the chimney section without going through the wicking ports, which can lead to leaking and flooding, which is a big no-no for me with tanks. I mean, I want a tank that's going to be reliable, and I want something where if I put it down on its side or put it in my pocket, I'm not going to end up with a table or a pocket full of juice when I pick it back up. And I'm kind of afraid of this thing here because I feel like that has potential to do that. So just be very, very careful of it if you do decide to pick this thing up for yourself. Also, my third con is going to be the juice capacity. At 1.35 milliliters, that's almost nothing. I mean, yeah, it's a nice shorty tank. It's small, it's compact, and it's going to be great on the Council of Vapor Mini Volt or the Mini Volt 2 that's coming out soon. I'm pretty excited for that. But as it stands right now, I mean, it looks all right on the Stout. I'm sure it's going to look all right on a few other devices out there, but I just don't really see how they can get away with only doing less than a 2 mil juice capacity. That's kind of unfortunate because I would have liked to have at least seen a 3 mil tank. I mean, that's kind of average nowadays is 3 mil. Maybe come out with an extension or something like that. I don't know. That's just me spitballing. My final con is going to be the fact that the chimney locking section just doesn't seem like it's up to par for me personally. It's a bit finicky, definitely doesn't work like it's advertised. You're supposed to be able to take that whole chimney and build deck out section without taking off the whole chimney. So you can either rotate it one way and get it to just unlock the build deck, or rotate it the other way to lock it in, and then you can spin off this whole thing, this whole section, without interrupting anything on the build deck itself. However, in theory, yes, that is a good idea, but it doesn't really work in practice, unfortunately. It's a great idea. Like I said in the little close-up section, I just kind of wish they threw a screw on there or something like that just to make it a little bit easier for you to be able to access the build deck without taking off the chimney section. And as it's configured right now, don't think it's so great. I do believe they should work on a V2 of this device because it does have a lot of potential. However, as it stands right now, would I buy it if I did not receive it for free for the purpose of doing this video? And my answer, unfortunately, would be no. The reason I say that is basically because all the cons that I listed, I have some major gripes with it, and it's just not really the device for me. I mean, I love the idea of this tank, but I don't think it works so much in practice. However, I will be working with it a little bit more in the future. I do plan on doing possibly a build video for the Mini Volt. If you guys want to see that, make sure you drop a comment in the box below, and I will do that for you guys. Maybe something that's going to save a little bit more on battery life or something like that. But anyways, I'm just going to take a few more rips on this thing and then we'll sign out. So I do want to apologize for any miscommunication or misleading of this video here. I really meant to get a coil build out to you guys today, but unfortunately I just was crunched for time dealing with the VPX footage for the vlog that I'm going to be putting out very soon, I assure you. But I will have one for you next week for Fresh Build Friday, brand new coil for you guys to try out. So anyways, guys, that about does it for this video. Make sure you check the link in the description if you want to check one of these out for yourself. Of course, leave a comment in the box below what you think of the RST. RST or any questions you may have about this device. I will be sure to answer them there for you. Of course, if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more. Check the advocacy links out in the description I have down there for you. Make sure you're fighting for your right to vape. And of course, check me out on all my different social media pages. I have Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you follow me on there. Like my page on Facebook. Check out my Snapchat. And if you want to fund this channel of mine, then you can check out my Patreon as well. So anyways, guys, that about does it. And as always, vape on!